So in the last video we discussed about the useState hook. So in this video we'll be talking about useEffect hook, which is a component lifecycle hook. So that helps whenever the changes are happen in our component. So let's understand that hook by an example. So for example, I want to use useEffect. So how will I be using that? You just need an import from React useffect, and then you just need to write useffect, and then you can simply write an arrow function inside this useffect, and like you can write anything. So for example, I'll be creating one input, so to make you understand some part. So let's make any input right now. So this is a normal input type. So let's write something in here. So just I'm writing a console log rendering. I'm just rendering or re-rendering, you can say. Just write rendering. I have written that rendering. So let's check this one. So if I see the console, so you will see that this rendering is rendered one time. So actually two times, but just consider it once you refresh the page, it will only render one time. So let's refresh the page again. So it is rendering one time. You just consider that. So if I'll be writing that element, so you can see if okay, let me assign a state there to this element also. So if I like already states are there, so let's click on increment. So you can see that it is also incrementing. So this is useffect hook. So whenever you are changing anything in the states, this is re-rendered. So that is whenever you want to like take any action on the re-rendering part, you can do that with the help of this useffect hook. So there are actually other ways also to use this. This one is very dangerous, so you shouldn't be using this because it renders on every state change. So that is very you can say very bad thing you should be doing, because we don't want that. We actually want the parts which are only like whenever that particular part is changed, then you have to write this render function. So let me just clarify that. So first I'll be writing this value. So we'll be talking about the forms, controlling the forms inside the next video. So let's consider it. I'm assigning a state to this input type value. So let's write name, for example. In this I'll be writing on change handler to this on change listener function. Handle name or anything I can write. Handle name I can write. I'll be creating this function here, handle name, just for the like understanding. I'll be writing that. So I can I'll be getting the E here, which is an event. I can just console log or just assign the state. I can set name. I'll be creating the state in a minute. So e dot target dot value, that will be getting. So the value will be entering, will be getting from this object, which is event. So we can name it anything. I just brought e, which is an like standard convention we use. So let's create the state also for the name and the set name. I'll be making you understand this form part in the upcoming videos, that how can we do that. Let's just save anything or initial value I can also write which you want to show in this input. So let me write just empty value. So let's see what happens. So you'll see this console log many times. So if I change any of the state, so for example this is came like this one came 6 times and 2 times. So if I write just delete this part, just if I refresh that, so you can see that 2 times it is rendered. So if I changing that part, so you can see this is also like console log, and if I increment that part, so that is also rendering that part. So use effect will render, like use effect will work on every state change, so that is a dangerous thing. We shouldn't be doing that. So for controlling that on which a state change you want this use effect to run, we'll be just assigning it a dependency array. So in after putting a comma, you just after this function, this arrow function, you just have to put this comma, and inside this square brackets you have to write the state on which this use effect is dependent. So it will not render on every state change, it will render on the like on the state which you will assign here in the dependency array. So for example, I'll be writing count here. So whenever the count is changed, then only it will render this part. So let's check it. So let me delete it and let me refresh that. So you can see that it is rendered 2 times. Let me increment that, so you can see it is changing. So it is incrementing, like it is also re-rendered. So if I decrement, then it will work. But if I change the state, then it state of the input box, then it is not re-rendering, it is only 6 now. So if I increment and do anything, when the input states are changing, then it is not re-rendering that. So that's why we like that is how we can control the part. So this is the thing we do generally in the use effect. If you want only this use effect to run at the like first time, or the initial reloading, or the first time this page is refreshed, or you saw like when this page is shown to you, then you can leave this dependency array to empty. So it will render only one time, so it will not re-render, it will just render it one time. So you can see it is rendered only one time. So now if I change any of the state, or if I decrement or increment, it is still true. Okay, so this is how we can control the use effect hook. So in the upcoming videos, when we'll be working on APIs, you will also understand one function which is returned by this use effect. So that we will be understanding in the upcoming videos. So let's leave it for the now. And this is use effect hook, and this is how we can control the states re-rendering. So let's meet in the another one. Thank you for watching the video.